So the affirmative is arguing that the SATs should be abolished in their proposition, but their solvency agrees that there is an importance to the SAT and that they should be considered alongside other, maybe not as importantly, but alongside other aspects such as GPA and extracurricular activities. But so there's a bit of a disconnect in that. In addition, they mentioned how the SATs their standards are being lowered because they want to compete with the SAT, which could be a factor, but in addition, the new SAT with the 1,400 point system was made by the current chairman of the College Board, which makes the SATs. And before before joining the College Board, Coleman was seen as one of the architects of the Kalman standards used across the nation at the moment. So there's a correlation between the nation's Common Core standards lowering and the the SAT standards lowering. It's in unison. In addition, according to Mikhail Zeinstein, an educational journalist with the Atlantic Monthly, the new SAT more accurately reflects what students learn in school, rebuffing criticism that acing the SAT requires mastering a separate curriculum through expensive test prep services. She also brought up the point that the SAT is the single predictability tool when colleges are deciding admission, but almost all colleges in the nation do not just use SAT as a means of admission. GPA is always accounted for. And they also brought up the point that the SAT should be abolished because of their focus on only English and mathematics, but the SAT already offers subject SATs, which offer a more comprehensive assessment on subjects. The bias towards low-income students and minorities was also discussed, but the same SAT exam is given to everyone. The exam itself cannot be objectively biased. Besides, College Board offers plenty of services that benefit low-income students. Fee waivers. I myself was given a fee waiver so I didn't have to pay the price of $50. And College Board has also ran a texting program that nudges students to fill out important financial aid forms. It also mails students colorful guides to take advantage of public assistance for education, according to the same article by Mikhail Zeinstein. And in addition, according to a study by the Educational Evaluation and Policy Analysis and published by the American Education Research Association, claims that a wave of recent research on post-secondary undermatch reveals that a majority of high-achieving low-income students fail to even apply to selective colleges and are generally unaware of the admissions requirements and benefits associated with selective higher ed colleges, meaning that colleges aren't receiving as much diversity, not because the SAT is biased against those minorities, but because they're not informing those minorities on the selective procedures and such. Now, to discuss the workability of their solvency, by removing the SAT, what other measure do colleges have to gauge students' knowledge besides GPA? Couldn't we just provide the SAT prep low-income students apparently need? Also, there are many disadvantages to removing that the SAT and in the selected process. One of them, which was made evident by the same study by the Education Evaluation Policy Analysis, it found that a test optional admission policy, so colleges that make the SAT optional, as a whole have done little to meet their manifest goals of expanding educational opportunity for low-income and minority students. However, they found evidence that test optional policies fulfill a latent function of increasing the perceived selectivity and status of these institutions, and in doing so may serve to reproduce and maintain the current social structure and its inequalities within the U.S. education. So, because they removed the SAT, there is no objective nationwide gauge for these students to get admitted to the schools, so schools are becoming more selective, meaning if they want to increase the diversity, they have the option to not look at all qualifications of a student and focus on racial and low-income statuses. Their study also revealed that eliminated or de-emphasizing standardized tests in the admission process has not reduced educational inequalities on average. These results indicate that the connection between social status and college admission is deeply embedded beyond simply a SAT. Thank you.